centralvalleytalk.com.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Business here on centralvalleytalk.com. And let's talk about a subject I'm interested in, interior design. This is Sara Klein, who is from the Exeter, Visalia, Tulare County area.
Yes.
Does your business have a name?
Yes, it's Sara Klein Interior Design, or Sara K Design. And
Sara
you can
K.
find me on Facebook, Sara Klein.
At the end, we'll tell everybody all the information about how to reach
Okay.
you. How did you get into interior design?
I think I'd have to attribute that to my oldest brother, John. When I was quite young, I would go around the house trying to...
Did you rearrange his bedroom?
No, I thought we should have window coverings. And I thought the closet should have all these wonderful little compartments and things. And I would take the drawings to him and say, John, would you please figure this out? And then we'll go to Mom for the bid. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I've always wanted to be an interior designer.
So some kids play doctor, fireman. You play interior designer.
Right? Just move right in and rearrange the space.
Okay, but going from that, dreaming as a kid,
Speaking
to actually...
of spaces.
Yeah. Are you saying our lovely studios...
Use my help here.
But the buildings back
Just
there look so
saying.
lovely, don't they? No, so you dreamt about it or played it as a child, but then
Yeah.
you grew up to actually do it. That's a big step.
I don't think I've ever actually stopped having that eye. I've traveled the world, and I've taken bits and pieces from everything I've seen, and I use that in the work that I do. I'm pretty lucky. I've been pretty lucky about that.
Well, anytime you can do something you love, you're
Absolutely.
lucky, right?
It's not work.
Okay, so you meet a client,
Yes.
and do you kind of pick their brains to see what they want?
Usually, yes. Usually they're referred to me and they've seen my work before in a friend's house, or a contractor has seen my work and recommends me. And that's, from that point, it's pretty easy to assess what their needs are. And it's really, for me, exciting to have a client that wants to upgrade or do some more improvements in their home. And usually we start at the point of some pictures maybe that they might have, their ideas, and from that point it's an interesting and exciting adventure between them and myself.
What if they want or have this image in their head of what they want, and you know it's just not going to work, or maybe isn't the best use of that space? Do you try to sway them your way?
Well, first of all, in interior design, as far as I'm concerned, there aren't rules.
Of course not. Yeah.
And so
It's wide open.
If somebody has a pretty good idea of what they want, I try and work around that as much as possible. I will not go too far away from what they want. It's not my home, after all. And I'll try and make what they want as much a part of the space as possible.
Have you ever been to Graceland, Elvis's home in Memphis?
No, I haven't.
You know about his famous jungle room, right?
Yes.
It is the most awful, atrocious room. And I'm wondering...
In your opinion.
In my opinion, but I'm just wondering if whoever designed that room, didn't have the guts to stand up to him and say, Elvis, this is really tacky and awful.
I think all the way around he had a problem with people not telling him
Which gets back to my question.
Him.
At what point does it become, is it on you to say, maybe something a little different would work better here?
I can always say, always inject my opinion, but
they're
really,
paying the bill.
But really, it is my client's final say in what they want in their space. So usually I will try and integrate their final wants into the design.
And I bet when it's all said and done, they come in and go, wow, I love it, right?
I have yet to have maybe I can't be truly honest and say that everybody's been happy in my, in my entire life. I probably have, count on one hand, people that have been sort of dissatisfied. But that would have been years and years ago. And so now I think I've got pretty well tuned in, and people are generally pretty happy. And when you think of an interior designer, you think, oh, money. There's somebody who's coming on the project, and they're costing me per hour, you know. And usually I save people money because we end up with decisions that are made that will really serve them the best. So that's why I love my job.
Are you a believer in feng shui?
I have studied it, and I am not entirely a student of that. I think in general, it's just a good idea to place furniture in a direction that's pleasing. I don't think you can apply that to everything.
In a more general term, I meant, you can walk into a room and know if it feels right.
Right.
Or if it just
And you
feels
can call that
awful.
You could call that feng shui.
That's what I call feng shui.
Yeah.
I was looking at some condos over in Morro Bay this past weekend.
Oh, lucky you.
Well, I was over there, and I wish I could afford a condo in Morro Bay, but
Okay.
one of the models I looked at was absolutely awful as far as the feng shui. It just did not feel right. It didn't flow, and I told the real estate agent this, and she actually agreed with me. And she said, "Let me show you another one," and we both agreed the other one had much better flow and feel
Okay.
to it. And
So you might be missing your calling. You know, you could be a feng shui expert.
I have rearranged some of my friends' houses, and they've been very happy with the
Well,
results.
that's super.
I couldn't see doing it full time, but it's fun to
Of
play
course,
with people's furniture.
You're taking away my job. So
I'm not taking away your job. I want to hear real quickly. You were on the Today Show with Willard Scott years ago. How cool was that?
that was pretty cool.
Wow! How did that
I was
happen?
pretty young.
You were just in New York.
I think I was 21, just a few years ago.
And what did you say? You were twirling a rope?
Yes, I was there in a Western show. I used to be a singer and a Western performer when I was quite young. Sort of went off in that direction for a little bit. And I was performing at Madison Square Garden in the show, and I was singing and trick roping and trick riding. And Willard Scott and the Today Show came down to the garden, and I got to be on with him.
And you knocked his hat off.
And I spun the big loop around him and knocked his hat off.
You know
and my
what?
grandparents were just glued to the television in Exeter, and they were so embarrassed, but it was fun.
That's the fun of live TV, though.
Yeah,
Just like this.
just like this.
All right. Tell everybody if they're interested in
Interior design.
I
for
want to
your
say
home.
hiring you. What's the right word?
Yes, it's hiring.
It is hiring,
Yes.
okay.
I have clients, just like an attorney or a doctor.
How can they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me by calling me or by finding me on Facebook and send me a message. My number is 909-4135.
909
4135.
4135. Sarah Klein, Interior Design.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Good to meet you.
Nice meeting
Thank you
you,
so
too.
much.
Wasn't that fun?
Good to be here.
You are watching Let's Talk Business on CentralValleyTalk.com.